Hello. Today we're going to look at a comic from Archie's called the Adventures of Young Dr. Masters. This is from August 1964. Introducing courageous young Dr. Masters and his exciting adventures and romances in the great city hospital and the trouble-filled world outside it. They have kind of like, they're introducing him, and there's kind of a spoiler on the cover. Young Dr. Masters, Walter Masters, the father, Sally Redmond, the nurse who loves young Dr. Masters, and Bruce Moore and Brenda Moore, young Dr. Masters' fiance. Let's take a look inside. Young Dr. Masters. So he's getting ready to go to work, and all of a sudden this police car pulls up. Dr. Masters, quick, there's a holdup on South Street. 2 people have been shot. We need your help. Okay, my office patients can wait. So I guess this is what they did the day before 911. Cops would just go to a nearby doctor and get him in. So he says, yeah, this punk, he shot a couple of people, and he's held up in the candy store. So he's like, okay, poor fool, he's probably crazed with fear. The blazes with him, Doc. The shrunk shot Yates and the woman outside. Who cares about him? He's just a mad dog. So he says, no, my friend, just a stupid hoodlum who's liable to kill several others before you get him. So there's, the policeman and the woman are laying out there in the street all this time. No one calls the hospital. Nobody calls an ambulance. They go and get young Dr. Masters. So he comes along, and he bandages them up. They're okay. And he's like, well, he's held up in there. What are we gonna do? He says, I'm gonna go in. But don't rush him because he'll kill me. So he goes in and says, hey, I'm a Dr. Masters. I'm here to help you. In the candy store, look, I noticed that they're selling comic books. Masters, huh? You must be old, Dr. Masters. Your old man's a great guy. He carried a lot of poor people on the cuff when they didn't have any dough. So I guess his son's no different. Come on, Dr. Masters. Thanks. So he's, getting ready to fix him up, and he's trying to talk him into giving himself up. And he's like, no way. So he comes up with a plan. He's getting ready to bandage him up, and he says, okay, put your hands together. And he wraps the bandages around his, so he can't, but he's still got the gun in his hand. He's going to shoot him. So young Dr. Masters just punches him. So he goes back to the office, and there's a conflict at the office because the patients don't want to see young Dr. Masters. They want to see old Dr. Masters because they don't trust him. And why don't they trust him? Because he's got no confidence. He doesn't want to be a doctor. He wants to be a lab technician. He wants to be a research doctor. And so this guy, he wants to see old Dr. Masters. So the old guy comes in, treats him. Then old Dr. Masters comes out and says, you should have been able to take care of this patient. You just don't have any confidence. And he says, yeah, I want to work in the lab. And he's like, well, I never should have let you put that lab in the office. So they go back and forth. It's this drama about how he wants to be a research doctor. And, he's been researching this virus that is immune to antibiotics. And he's been studying it for years. And he's almost got figured out how to fight it without antibiotics. And his dad's like, oh, that's just nonsense. So meanwhile, in comes Brenda, his his fiance. And she's like, oh, well, you need to be a doctor so we can get married. And he's like, well, it's like, your dad wants me to be a doctor so I could work with him, and you want me to be a doctor because we can get married, but nobody cares about what I want. So she's like, do what you want, is if you don't want to marry me, just go ahead and take that three-year job for research, and you can forget about me. So she leaves, and apparently this isn't your day, says the nurse. So he goes out. He's going out to make house calls, and interesting perspective here. So he goes to the first place, and the woman's got abdominal pains, but he's indecisive. He can't decide what it is. So he calls the pharmacy and orders some stuff. And the guy's like, "You didn't sound very sure about what you told the druggist." And he said, "I'm sorry, you got that impression, but I'm sure your wife will make a speedy recovery." So he goes out, and so then he goes to the hospital where he's got this other patient who, he's not really sure about his diagnosis there, and her mother's not too sure about what he wants to do. He says he wants to give her a therapeutic trial where he was not sure what she's got. It could be rheumatic fever, it could be TB or tumors. So he's going to try one thing and see if that works. And she goes, I'm going to find a doctor who knows what he's doing. So he's leaving, and this nurse is like on the phone. "Oh no, we just got an emergency call, and every intern is out on an ambulance. And I'll have to wait until one of our wagons rolls in." He says, "Oh, I can't wait. Wait a minute, you're a doctor, right?" "Yes." "Could you come on an ambulance call? We've got an emergency." "If I must." So the nurse grabs him and grabs him down. To this construction site where the girders had slipped, and got a couple guys caught under the girders. So the guy pulls up in an ambulance, and they take off. And she says, "I'm Sally from Central Hospital." "I'm Dave Masters, young Dr. Masters, they call me." She says, "Walter Masters was a marvelous reputation. I imagine his son." "Yeah, she'd imagine. Dad would imagine. But I've left nothing to his patients' imagination. I'm not old Dr. Masters, Sally, and you'll soon find out." Not very confident in himself. So this is Dr. Masters' desperate decision. "I'm Dr. Masters. Where are the trapped men?" "Wait, I'm coming along," says Sally. "On the 18th floor. I'll have to take you there in the elevator. It's a nasty situation. 2 guys are pinned under a girder." "I'll ease their pain with morphine," he says. "That ain't the problem. We'll have to reach them. We don't dare go out on the girder for fear of tipping it." So they go out, and these guys are stuck out on this girder somehow. And all these professional, construction workers are afraid to go out there. But Dr. Masters says, "Well, I'm going to go and take care of these guys." So he goes out to the first one. He goes out and he crawls out, and the first guy, he goes, "Well, I'm going to give you some morphine. Just take it easy." He says, "This will kill your pain." He says, "Kill away. I figure we'll get out of this, Doc, with a little luck. You know something, Doc? You got guts." "Thanks. Try and rest while I look at your pal." "My arm's pinned, Doc." It's worse than I thought. His hand's crushed and needs immediate attention." Out on the beams. "I must operate at once, and he'll bleed to death if we wait until he gets to the hospital." You're giving me ether? Giving me ether out on the girder. You need an operation here and now. Inhale deeply. Okay, but don't lean back too far, Doc. You ain't used to girders. You don't want to lose an arm like you don't want to. We don't want to lose you at a time like this. Sally, listen. I must perform a quick operation. I'll tell you what instruments I need. And he says, "We're ready, Doc. We rigged up a winch and bucket." I don't know why they didn't take the winch and pick up the girder and take the guys out of there, but never mind. Good, the man's asleep. Now I can speak freely. He requires an emergency amputation or he'll be lost. Emergency amputation. But you're on a thin steel girder. You need an operating room. I'm aware of all the dangers, Sally. No other diagnosis is possible of this case. Shall I crawl out and help you? Sure, Sally. No, stay where you are. I'll be through in a minute. Shortly. There, he's done. I wonder if he dropped the guy's arm off there or whatever. Now, send me an acetylene torch. Want acetylene torch? Coming up. It's amazing. Soon, not only a doctor and a surgeon, but a welder. So he cuts through the beam, and it's going to be tricky stuff. That beam falls, you upset the balance, and you may all go down with it. Crack. I'm free, and maybe I'm free. I can make it back. But Masters, won't this girder excuse me. But Masters, won't the girder he's on buckle? So this other guy is like, what am I going to do? He says, she's got two guys out there. So he gets the first guy. And I don't know what happened to that other guy. He grabs the first guy and grabs him with the bucket, and he goes out. And the winch comes out, and he grabs the winch, and he pulls him out. Hey, this guy's dead weight. Pull me over faster. And he pulled him over. So I don't know what happened to the first guy, the guy that was out with the morphine. I don't know whether he fell or what. But later, there's reporters out there, and they're saying, "What's your name? Are you a staff or an intern?" He's like, "No, I'm young Dr. Masters. I don't have no time for questions. I got to rush him to the hospital." So Sally is so impressed, she just has to jump on him. "Oh, I don't know anyone in the world who could have done what you did." "Oh, nonsense. It just took a bit of gymnastics skill and a lot of luck. Still running yourself down." "Let me have a cigarette here," says the doctor. "I'm realistic, Sally. With the with a bed patient, I'd goof up a diagnosis faster than you could say young Dr. Masters. He can only work on his feet. He can't work with people in a bed." So they go, and she's like, "Look me up anytime." He's like, "Oh, she's kind of cute." So he comes back, and his doctor's like, "Well, you lost a patient. You almost lost a patient. The woman with the abdominal pains, turned out she had appendicitis, and she's like, "You should be able to recognize a simple case of appendicitis." And I had to go and save her, She's like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you did, but I still want to be a research lab man." So he goes into his lab, and his dad gets really pissed off, and she knocks over his lab equipment. And he's like, "Dad, you've gone crazy." And he's like, "No, I'm only sorry I didn't do that when you first opened." So his fiance comes along, and so they talk, and he's like, all of a sudden he's getting sick. And he's like, can't even help me. He's like, some days I can't even help myself. I'll call Dr. Medford. Dad knows what he's doing. So, he's sick and he doesn't trust his son to cure him, so he sends for this other doctor. So he's in the hospital, and the doctor says, well, we did these lab tests, and here I think it's pneumonia. And the young Dr. Masters, look at this. Pneumonia, not according to these findings. Really, what do you think it is? It's a virus. I've been isolating in my private lab. Dad may have accidentally come in contact with it when there's a 10-day development period. Every indication points to it. I believe and believe me, Dr. Medford, I'm right. And they're like, no way. So he tells the nurse Sally to give him antibiotics to kill the pneumonia. And he's like, oh no, antibiotics will feed the virus and kill my father. So he's like, just do what I say, nurse. So he says, Sally, if you do that, it's going to kill my father. And he says, what am I going to do? He says, I've got a serum that I've been developing. I haven't tested it on humans yet. She's like, well, I can hold off for half an hour before I give it to him. So he runs back to his office and gets the serum, and he comes back, but Dr. Medford's back, and he's about to give him a shot, and he's like, don't do it. Don't give him any antibiotics. He says, don't be ridiculous, boy. How can you stop me? With a karate chop like this. Pow. So he throws the doctor out and locks the door. And his dad's like, are you sure about this? Yeah, I'm sure. And he gives him the injection. And next morning, his dad's feeling great. And he's like, he and Sally are making out. And Brenda's like, oh, well, looks like I missed out here. Read the next issue of Young Dr. Masters to follow the romantic adventures and life and death of David Masters, MD. Well, that's the book. It's pretty crazy and pretty cheesy, but there it is. Hope you enjoyed the adventures of Young Dr. Masters. If you like this video, like it. If you've got any comments, I'd love to hear them. Put them down below. Thanks.